Hey guys, welcome to another episode of I.O.N.S, episode 9.
Welcome, guys.
Records.
Welcome. I'm sorry. It's like we have to get the whole sink in. We have to get that down. We're literally going to have to write a script for that.
Do you know, like, how many episodes we have where after I say that, you say,
All of them. All of them. I know, right? I'm sorry.
I was like, throw you into the episode like,
Yeah, I know. I always start screaming. I'm trying different things. Like week after week, I'm trying different things, it's an experiment for me still. I'm sure for all of us, but it's still new. So I'm not always going to come and scream. I'm over here cheesing my face off, but I'm not like, yes, guys.
So that's what the people are expecting.
Yeah, well, sorry to disappoint. I was, trying to be a little bit mellow.
It's all
trying.
Yeah.
Well, A for effort, A for effort.
Yeah. Yes.
So how are you doing on this Tuesday?
Tuesday is
gloomy Tuesday.
Gloomy. It was humid. It's one of those days where it's rainy and humid and gray.
Yeah.
It's they're resurfacing my street. I had to tell off some because they gave us the days Tuesday and Wednesday, right? But they started towing cars yesterday, Monday.
Oh,
and the neighbors ringing my bell saying, "Yo, they towing the cars." I come out.
Here
I
we
never
go
seen
again with the
cars.
tows.
If you see my car and you walk up to it and you see I'm not in it, keep it moving. Okay? It's not funny. You nosy. You need to stop.
I gotta get that revenue back.
Yeah.
And it's you knew that the sign said Tuesday, but it's just another money making scheme. You're right. It's just they pick a certain area. They're like, "Yo, we're gonna get this," and I was like, "Yo, the sign is the wrong day." He's like, "Oh, but did they tow your car?" I was like, "No," but he's like, "Oh, so don't worry about it." I was like, "That's not the point."
Yeah, just because something doesn't affect you doesn't mean
the attitude.
that is the
attitude.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow." So I was like,
"Don't worry about it." Okay, girl, don't worry about it.
So crazy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, though.
Well, they work when they feel like it, right? Because other projects take years and years, but when they want to do something quick and get it over with, they find the energy to get it done. So
yeah. But me, the road thing, I want them to do it one day. I don't see why they have to do a street 2 days. That's too much for me.
Yeah.
1 day. I mean, I know they're like, okay, I want to get it done, but getting it done, it shouldn't be 2 days anyway. It should be one. You scrape the road the night before. You plan out your thing. There's a lot of these departments too. That's why government is so darn slow, because it's like nobody plans. Nobody plans ahead.
Yeah.
Scrape the night
Run
before.
up the clock.
Yeah, run up the clock.
Wake up in the morning. Get yourself to work.
It's stupid. Makes it, that's a whole other thing, complaining about bureaucracy and
and it's like these plans are made up in the office where people aren't really, they don't understand how. Yeah, it's like they don't know how it changes. Actual life, actual life is affected by these changes, and they're just looking at something on a chart.
Yeah,
a date on a screen, and they're just like, okay, we'll just extend this. No, it's like people still have to organize their lives around these changes, and it's like there's no consideration.
But even when they're doing it that way, you might think that okay, they're on a chart. They should have all the schedules. They should have just in time, down. But it's not working.
Yeah,
it's not working, even on their little charts and their projections and all of that. Yeah, so they're not planning good. They're planning all of their planning sucks. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about something else.
So what are we here to talk about? Please let us know.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Well.
So
I kind of wanted to touch on the whole controversy around the In the Heights movie that just got released on HBO Max and in theaters, and how the issue of colorism, whenever it seems to pop up, either people they lose their voice or they forget that it's been around. It's just it's an ongoing issue, and it just
They don't
keeps
want to talk about
resurfacing. They don't want to talk about
They
it.
don't want to talk about it. Like if folks don't want to talk about racism. Anything that makes someone uncomfortable, they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Or I didn't do it intentionally, or I didn't mean to do that, but you did
it's
it.
like, I saw like the interview with the director, John Chu, and he said, we can add this to the conversation.
So with that, what are your thoughts on the lack of Black Latinx people represented in your film?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was something we talked about, and I needed to be educated about, of course. But I hear you on, trying to fill those cast members with darker skin. I think that's a really good conversation to have.
No, we're having the conversation now. We're not talking about some theoretical conversation that may happen in the future. The conversation is now, and it's just he offered no answer. And
everyone wants to kick it down the road, but then again, he can't give an answer to that because they have their own colorism problems.
Yeah.
It's not just colorism in the Latin American community, or it's not just that. It's color. I mean, we're not even gonna touch on the I could say Black, so the Black color, but colorism within the Indian community, within the Asian, the whole Chinese community,
everywhere.
Indian, South Asia, within the Hispanic communities, it's everywhere. I saw the clip that you sent, and I don't know, I don't know her name, but her response irked me so much.
In the audition process, which was a long audition process, there were a lot of Afro-Latinos there, a lot of darker skinned people. And I think they were looking for just the right people for the roles, for the person that embodied each character in the fullest extent.
Look, so that means either you had a terrible casting director, or if you were part of that process, you didn't like them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like to say that you can't find anyone. Come on.
Because they obviously had that one actor that was Black. I mean, it's not like
they always did. They always sprinkle one in there, right? You just always sprinkle one in.
His role wasn't that demanding, and he didn't this performance was okay. Anybody could have did it, but they obviously know who to cast where and when they want to, right? So
for the stereotypes.
Yeah.
I mean, to have that type of energy already lets you know where the person is coming from.
I mean, and this is not this is an issue too. I am by no means a part of the Latin community or anything like that. The most ties I have is to Cuba, and sometimes that doesn't even count. But anyway, I notice even in high school, through our college or whatever, and doing high school in New York, we're around, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to say it. I don't know if they do it intentionally, but there are a lot of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, right? But it just always seemed that, is it me or and I'm not trying to offend any Puerto Ricans here, but is it me or do Puerto Ricans actually believe that they're better than Dominicans? I always get that feeling.
That was... I will say that was about middle school.
Are we going to ask the resident Dominican?
and high school. Like that narrative was going strong in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
That led to a lot of fights. So,
right. It's
because then it kind of still, for me, when I was going through that, it was it was a skin issue. It was skin first, region second.
Yeah. Oh, skin. Because Dominicans are somewhat, not always, but they're somewhat darker than most Puerto Ricans, right? Not all of them, of course, but
no, there's plenty of dark Puerto Ricans. Plenty.
Yeah, I saw that in high school too. It was the same thing. And during lunch, the Dominicans would have the area, the Puerto Ricans would have theirs. And then if someone would sort of cross in between, they would be like an outcast. They would always have to basically pick a side.
I don't understand where that comes from, because that, what you call it, I wasn't brought up like that. The folks that I hung around wasn't brought up like that. We weren't told that we're better than. So I don't know where that narrative was coming from, but
it was there.
It was just weird. It was there.
It was there, and I mean, and I'm an outsider. I saw it. I saw it. I heard it. It was like, do not ever. Oh, mistake. Oh, are you Dominican? No.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all of them are like this, but I heard it a lot, and it was puzzling, but not so puzzling, because I saw the differences. Sometimes are the ones that I knew, like the Dominicans had, to me, like the coarser hair, but it's still like, we would say, even though I know Spanish is a language, we call all of them Spanish. To me, it's like, oh, Spanish.
Yeah, that was sort of like the
it's bad.
It's bad. Like back in the day, that was like the generic term. Like,
yeah, I should. Spanish. Yeah, I know now. You know, like everybody has to learn a lot of things. I'm like, okay, they're both Spanish. I didn't know the difference.
It was a similar vibe, like in especially back in those times, like in high school, between like the African American students and Haitian students. Also, like if someone called you Haitian, it was like an insult back then.
Yeah,
when they were first starting to come into the country.
For some, what you call it, they still take that as an offense now. Like I remember someone thought that, and this was just voice, but you know, someone thought that I was Mexican. Okay. It's like, oh no, I wasn't offending. I was like, you're not offending, because what you call it, I said I love my, what you call it, Mexican brothers and sisters. So I'm not taking that as an offense, because for me to do that is to be like, I can't be associated with these people.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
but isn't there like a higher, like in terms of like what Grace is talking about, hierarchy within the Latin community in terms of country of origin?
That
people have created, and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's stupid.
Yes.
It's stupid, because today we still look at Mexican people like they're at the bottom of the totem pole. I'm like, this is ridiculous, guys.
Yeah. Because
they're not people.
Because they have the stereotype for working hard.
Which is which is bullshit. It's like, okay, so they're hard workers. So that means that we place them there?
Yeah.
Or that they're seen as needing to work hard as opposed to not having to work as hard. You know, like usually people, I don't know, like if you have to have like a bunch of different jobs, you're seen as lower usually, typically, you know. That's how people generally see it.
But you know,
it's absolutely crazy.
I think that's going to change though, because over time, it's not just going to be, I'm going to be the one, you know, I'm speaking like I'm a Mexican right now. They're not always going to be the ones doing the gardening and the construction work. And it's not. Their kids, they're going to work hard, send their kids to school. Their kids are going to get the finance jobs and the jobs in power. And that's how it usually goes. It's all a cycle. They're not always going to be at the bottom.
But they were never at the bottom. Those are some of
the stereotypes.
Some of the greatest hustlers out there.
That's it.
It's like, I can't find a job. They'll find them and some.
Yeah.
I can't get a house. They got a house. The whole family's in there.
In there.
Te dije que no y es no. Why don't you do something better with your time? ¿Ya limpiaste ese cuarto?
My room's already clean.
Did you cut the grass?
They have a goal. They stick together. And that's what I admire about them.
Yeah.
All the odds, even when the narrative even comes from the media, as high as the presidency.
Yeah, recently.
That these folks are lesser. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And a lot of people play into that. My own people as well.
True.
Because it's like we've immediately forgotten where we've come from.
Yeah.
Because we're able to buy cell phones and clothes, and we live in some decent areas. Now we're not that anymore. Like, come on. We're still very much can be there immediately.
But still want to rep the country though, right? Like still repping
Always.
where you from. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Well,
Always. It is like so many disagreements, so many arguments, so many clips of just ignorance that I just couldn't stand. Like, the typical. Go ahead.
You know what's crazy? Because I looked at that Instagram post and I was looking under the comments, and the amount of there was negative, but the amount of positive feedback that Chu was getting and the cast was getting, it was mind-boggling that they didn't see that this was a problem. And one of the comments, it stood out to me. It said something like, "Oh, you represented us in a way that we could be proud of." But I'm like, maybe he represents you because you look like most of those people.
Right.
And I'm not taking anything away from the actors that were in the movie, but everybody has been up to, I call it up to, in the heights, right? Everybody has been there. It does not look like only like what was shown in the movie. And that did it, the injustice.
Like even me, like I actually, like, I'm not going to take away from the movie. It's an awesome movie. It's great. It was really entertaining. I was a fan of the musical. And for the record, Lin-Manuel Miranda did have black people in the Broadway show. So I don't know what happened. But the movie was great. But even me, not even with that anywhere in my mind, like about 20 to 30 minutes in, I was like, wait, there's no black people.
It used to be known as Chocolate City. It's barely Mocha City right now.
And my eye intentionally started looking at the background dancers and trying to intentionally looking for dark-skinned people, and I just didn't see it. I was like, oh, okay, so it's going to be like this.
So I'll cut him some slack. I can see how he could have missed this.
Mm.
I can see him.
How?
Because he's not looking at it from that lens like when he created Hamilton.
How does a bastard orphan son of
because when you're saying this is just my thoughts and opinion on it, if you're thinking Hispanic and you're thinking Dominican, Puerto Rican, El Salvadorian, all of those, you think it's the people as a whole. Just like you see these folks still represent everyone, no matter the color diversity.
Yeah, I think that's where the sticking point is like and that's why, Grace, you were talking about, you saw a lot of support, because I think, like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I see, what people were saying, they saw it as a Latin American movie to represent Latinos in America.
No matter how you look. Okay.
Yeah,
exactly,
but to me, it's like
of it.
It's a generalization representative, and they felt represented, as Latinos in the movie, or Latinx. Sorry, movie.
Oi.
But it's like, to get them to go to the next level, I found that if they weren't of that phenotype, it was more difficult for them to see there being an issue. Like, if you're already like an Afro-Latino, you're gonna be, it's just like, and I was explaining this to one of my friends. I was like, this is the same thing that blacks have had to go on through with the blaxploitation era, with getting dark skin. Because even when they started coming out with classy movies with Lena Horne and everything, even as classy as those movies were, Lena Horne was still very light skinned, and they even had to come out and say, even though this represents us in a good light, it doesn't represent all of us. And it's the same exact thing, and it's just happening all over again. But I think once they realize that, they're like, okay, like this is how this is going to be. Because people were like, why crap on this movie when there's representation, just to say, oh, there aren't enough dark people. They felt that it wasn't an issue. You have to look at the bigger picture. But there is no bigger picture, because if you don't use the big platforms to point attention to it, no one's ever going to hear your voice.
True.
Right. So I'll add on to that. So going back to that last part of, it's representing us, and we should just, feel pride in that. The issue is you're also ignoring that particular issue that we always strive away from as well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We know that issue exists. Yeah. We do. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those silent issues that you just don't talk about.
Yeah. And this is like
Because
a
we're
stamp.
all.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say that because we're all under that one flag.
Yeah.
We know what it is, but we still all have to be together on this one.
Yeah.
It's just like no.
Yeah. But and this also creates like history. When you go back and you look at it, and then other, say they want to show it in the schools or in schools all over the South America or wherever, everywhere they want to show it. And then I understand that there are lots of movies with just white people or whatever the case is, but this was about the Heights, and these people who have no idea what it is to live there, they're going to have a warped view of the people that live there. And that, to me, that didn't do it justice. And it's also, people are tired of waiting to be included. And I'm not saying they should have just threw in an Afro-Latino or Afro-Latina. I'm not saying they should have just thrown in somebody black or somebody with some more with some more melanin. I'm not saying that.
You said it right. You said it right the first time. Because that's really what it spanned. That's really what the issue is.
Yeah.
We can say Afro-Latino, black.
That's what it is. I'm not saying just throw in any black person. That's not going to make your movie great. But stop acting like they don't have, we don't have talent. Stop acting like that.
Yeah.
And to say that, there were plenty of them there, but they picked the best. Yeah, they picked the best because more often than not, a lot of the times it's girls that look like you that's gonna get the job. A lot of the times, even not in the Afro-Latino world, but even in the Asian world, it's girls that with the bleached skin that's gonna get the job. It's in the black world, it's the girls that's mixed that's gonna get the job. There's always an issue.
It's universal.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's not just here.
And do you think
picking on this guy?
That's another issue that just kind of came to my head when Brand said Afro-Latino, no, it's black. Do you think that is sort of giving some people resistance from even venturing off into saying something? Because you would have to acknowledge your blackness.
That's true, and a lot of
you're
them
like,
don't.
Latina, if you're dark skin, you're black.
So our very first episode, we talk about colorism within one reality show.
Yeah.
And then we tapped in, I think, on another episode. I think the following episode was how I have to identify myself within the senses.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I can't say I'm Dominican. Mm-hmm. That's ethnicity. That's not my race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're black, right?
Because that's the only thing that
of Hispanic.
I can identify.
Hispanic.
That's the only thing I can.
The only box left.
That's the only thing I can identify as, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just
not white, non-Hispanic. It's white, black, Pacific Islander, and another, but nothing that specifies Hispanic. That's ethnicity that kicks in. So it's even acknowledging that you are that. Mm-hmm. That's really where it needs to start,
right?
Because I know folks hood folks.
Mm-hmm.
Can't call them the lingo, and I'm Dominican.
Yeah.
I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah, you can't call them black. Yeah,
I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is like black with they're black when convenient too.
Chill with your black brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
But when shit get real, no, you're Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like, no, you're black too.
Sad? Yes.
Because once again, to think black is to think something negative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you're carrying that same construct that needs to be unlearned.
Right.
Everywhere. It's not just, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's just
everywhere, in every community, and no matter how poor the community is, it's everywhere.
And this director went through the same thing when he did Crazy Rich Asians. It was the same issue.
He's the one that did Crazy Rich Asians?
And it was the same issue. A lot of the darker skinned Asians was like, this movie does not represent everybody in the community. So knowing that he went through that already, I would think that he would be a little bit more sensitive, in terms of doing this movie, but
no, absolutely not. If that is not your experience, no, you're not going to think like that.
And also, he knows that this is going to blow over until he makes his next film.
Yeah.
Well,
he knows it's going to blow over. We talk for a minute and then we get over it.
Oh, yeah. This most definitely is not going to stick, because every time this type of issue comes up, we try to push on it to get the conversation going, but they'll probably throw another title in there for recognition, and then it goes on the wayside. Again, I'm not saying, do this where it has to be in everyone's face. I mean, at this point, you want representation. It's almost like you got to do it yourself.
Yeah. But then you don't have the means to do it.
You don't have the resources. Like, we can always do like an iPhone movie or our own independent film, but it's not going to get the eyes.
It's not. It's not.
Because at this point, you can't always expect people to do the right thing in positions of power.
Yeah, that's but it's like that. You go like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and it's the same thing that happened in Black film. You do a little bit of progression and you fall back. It's never like a consistent progression, until you get to the point where you do have more equal representation. I guess it's just going to be the same thing in terms of
over and over the same conversations. Yeah,
it's going to keep popping up. But it's like,
well, and look, I understand. Look, don't get in there just because of skin color. No.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to have the qualifications.
Yeah.
You still have to have the talent. The issue is when you have all those things, and then it's still an issue.
They should
blind auditions. Still find an excuse why that's not the one. I'm not saying once you see it, that's what you got to pick.
Right.
But you know when the person is right for the part and they're not, without bias. Because that's another thing too. It can be bias. Because I know folks who won't. Now I'm derailing, but it's like the subject of I can't date a Black girl.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, I'm not saying for me, but I'm just saying.
I get you. I get what he's saying. Look, I know what you're saying.
Absolutely.
I know y'all have heard that, or what you call it. Even for females, be like, I'm not. Or, I can't date a Black man.
Or like they're good for one thing, but not for anything serious. You can't take it home to mama, sort of situation, right? Yeah.
Right. Very whitewashing back then, because that's the same way they say it. So yeah, it's just something that people feel deep down is something negative.
Yeah,
it's so ingrained.
Always.
Yeah, but it's like how do we just like fix? I mean, it's moving forward. It's just.
It is moving forward, but people just have to unlearn that behavior, and then there's nothing worse than self-hate, because that still is.
That's what we really need to talk about too. How do we move these conversations from, okay, we're talking about it, they messed up, to making an actual change? What do you think that we, like, as people could do to make an actual change in just this whole dynamic of just the skin?
To be honest, I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what would need to really, because say you have all the representation, but the mindset is still the same, then what?
Yeah. There needs to be like a lot of self-realization by people to just be comfortable in their own skin. Like, we can have the representation, but if they're not comfortable in it, it's a psychological barrier that has to come down.
Yeah, because a lot of the times we're complaining, they're doing this to us. We want this kind of freedom, and then we end up and we turn around and do the same thing to our own people. People that's of a different shade. Like, it makes no sense.
That's where it needs to start then. If anything, it has to start within the community.
Yeah.
The same community where it's just torn and damaged, that's where you got to start. Because they already think that way. Not everyone, but some folks have those thoughts, and that those thoughts spread.
Like a virus. Maybe we need to start also teaching it in schools. Like, side note, these teachers nowadays, listen, I don't think that they're doing as much of like, I don't know, I'm gonna sound wrong when I say this. I know, I don't care. They're not being teachers anymore. Teachers nowadays are very selfish. It's not about the kids. I have not heard so much things about teachers' personal lives as I've heard with my kids being home. All they do is talk about themselves.
Oh, so they just come to the classroom event? Is that what they're doing?
They come to the classroom. Oh, I did this, I'm not saying that you can't get to know your students, but every time it's like, oh, I did this with my family today and this and that. They just keep going on and on about themselves. Growing up, I was one of those people that thought that the teacher stayed at school and never left, and I knew nothing about their personal life. If I saw them outside of school, it was such a shock. It was just like the teachers were revered. They not feared, but revered and looked up to, and just
I think that today's student is just different, and some students may need that. They may need to feel like a personal connection with, because I know some teachers that they're overwhelmed on it, they get no support. If is this,
I'm tired of hearing that.
They don't get it.
Shit.
No, they don't get it.
They don't get, because they don't care.
No, I disagree. I don't think they don't care. I think a lot of them are inundated with students that have no support at home. So they come to the classroom expecting teachers to make up for the lack of parenting that isn't being done at home. So there's that stress. They get no support financially. They have to buy their own stuff. Working all these hours, doing all these evaluations that they don't have time for. So when they come to class and they're dealing with students that are just kind of out of control, maybe just trying to develop a personal connection. And for me, I know personally the teachers that were a little bit more open are the ones that I remember, because they actually I felt that they put an effort, more of an effort into getting to know me as a student and connecting with me and stepping outside of the box in terms of how they, in their curriculum and how they taught. I know some teachers, they just go, they don't even follow the curriculum. They just get to know their students and then develop a curriculum that's best suited for them in terms of their interests, just to keep them interested in the classroom.
Which is how it should be done, because clearly what the school has planned doesn't work. You can't teach all kids the same way. Not all of them will learn the same way. It's common sense.
I don't think today's teachers are actually teaching jack. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean, if you don't,
they look in the book, right? And they they tell them what to teach the kids, and there is no innovation. There's no thought.
I wouldn't put that on the teacher. The principal sets that up. This is the curriculum.
And these are principals who they get on their soapbox and you can't tell them nothing. They're the principal. They made it. That's it. These teachers can't even communicate with them most of the time. It's actually a blessing for a teacher to have a good relationship with a principal nowadays.
Yeah, because they hold a lot of power.
The HNIC.
Imagine that, to say power. But principals have always been how do you say, the warden of the place. I understand that part.
But they I feel like moreover now they have way too much power.
Yeah.
What power? That's for sure.
Way too much. Then I used to think why we had so many layers, because I was like, man, it's filling too many jobs here. But Now I see. Now I see why you had this person above this person, that one above that person, because you can't just leave one person to handle all those responsibilities.
Separation of duties.
Separation
Keep the
of
powers
duties.
keep the powers in check. Yeah, keep the powers
Keep them in check.
I don't know. I've been having a lot of second thoughts and issues and thinking about spending a lot of money on private school because I just don't think they're getting what they should.
Well, I mean, the argument that I'm hearing now is that kids are learning things that they have no business learning.
Yeah. It's a lot of filler.
Like children should not be learning about, the politics, police, all of that. I mean, it's children.
Yeah.
Children.
Yeah.
So when parents go off about that, I understand. I get it.
What?
I get it.
Like for instance, what do you call it? Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. Why the protests and why this and that. But that's always been there, though.
But I feel like that should.
That should be a home thing. Yeah,
right.
That should be a home thing.
Not
Totally.
at school.
Yeah, you're right. 100% right with that one.
Because then you start to spark something else within that class. Because Lord knows how everyone else what conversations they're having in their house. So then if they come into the school and then this is the topic, and now because kids can speak their mind.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, agree or disagree, they're gonna just go out there and speak everything. That is true, but I don't know. Certain things don't belong in the classroom, and I think that's just me. One of them, you don't connect with a student by talking to them about your personal life. That's just me. You connect with a student by listening to them about their life. It's not about you.
Yeah, I get that part, but sometimes.
Or they may be doing that to try to get the students to open up a little bit, because a lot of times when you're young, unless you don't feel like you can trust somebody, like if they feel you're open first, then they may open back up to you.
No,
they're already looking at you as the symbol of authority.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say this because she might.
I don't think they're looked at with that much authority nowadays. They have let go of a lot of their powers because they're showing the kids that they're human.
Yeah,
by talking
but
about
those are the most memorable.
much.
I know some of my most memorable teachers are the ones that were like off the wall, just like there was no authority whatsoever, but they were just cool people, and they just made the environment comfortable.
Yeah, I don't need to know what did you do this weekend? But it should not be half of the class talking about
that's uncomfortable for students though. Teacher actually directly like questions about your life. Like if you're a shy student, you're not going to want to talk. Like you're not going to tell anything about your life.
No, they ask them what you do this weekend, but by the time they're done, there's so many kids in the class. By the time they're done, half the class is done.
And I'll be like the one student hoping that I don't get to go.
Yeah.
I would not want to even say nothing.
I mean, there's really no blueprint on how to really handle a whole bunch of little strangers.
Shut up!
I want them to. No, there is a blueprint. That's your job. There is no. What do you mean? I can say my job. I'm not gonna say my job, but in my job, right? You think I could go in and say, "Oh, there's no blueprint"? Yes, somebody teaches you and stuff like that, but that's your job. You're supposed to know how to handle little strangers. That's your position.
Right, but I mean, the thing is, sometimes when you handle it doing your job, it becomes a media storm.
No,
you said this. You're not supposed to do that because remember, the parents have the power too. A lot of power.
What I'm saying is to be a teacher. When I said it's their job to handle the kids, I don't mean like discipline them. I don't want nobody hitting my child.
No, those days are clearly over.
Yeah,
but and all that stuff.
Only because I know a few teachers, they can do everything by the book and still get in trouble by them doing their job.
Yeah,
because if the kid feels some type of way, It's the kid first. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
And I think that's also why they're sort of maybe trying to connect with them on a personal level, because they want the kids to be their ally. Because that kid could run home any day and just make something up, and then it's just like,
and
it's war.
Boom.
Yeah.
Just immediate investigation, what you call it, off the job with no pay.
But that's why you don't take it too personal. You get in there, you do your introduction, you teach your lesson, make sure they're getting what they need to get out of the lesson, and then you move on to the next set of students.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Look, I think
I don't know how
you're
effective
you are honestly simplifying.
Yeah, I don't know how effective. It's like a social worker. Like you're saying, oh, just get in there, fill out your paperwork and leave. Like it needs a certain level of empathy and sort of just on the fly switch up.
Because I'm quite sure
your job.
It wouldn't be the same case if you just went in there and you were dealing with, special needs kids.
That's why you have a special educations teacher. They would know how to handle those kinds of kids, right?
You would think so.
I think all students have certain needs. All students have certain needs on a certain, a different spectrum, a different level. They're all not a blanket.
One kid might not be what you call it, may not be getting the information as fast as other kids, or may not be getting it at all.
And a part of your job as a teacher is to say, okay, let me spend 5 more minutes with that particular kid.
But then what if it's multiple kids?
Yeah.
Then you say, okay, this kid needs it. Then you do what they call little like mini groups. Then you do your mini groups and you do it that way. If that's not working, how much school funding they have for that, where they could get the tutors to come in, or you speak to the parents. This child is not
no funding.
They never have funding. It's crap. They do have money. They just choose to spend it on what they want to spend it on.
They don't get to choose how they spend.
It's the administration.
They don't have say like that. It's the top and that's it. Like the teachers are at the bottom.
The thing is, if a specific child is having issues in a specific area, you speak to their parents about that. Maybe the parents could chip in, but you still have to do your job for the other kids. Maybe that child is not going to excel in that class. Maybe they'll excel in another class, but it's not your duty to sit down there and spend like the whole time like explaining to that 1 or 2 particulars, then the other kids get left out.
Yeah, you're approaching this job, teachers like from like a military standpoint.
You didn't get it? Too bad. Next.
It's not that.
What you call it? Teachers have to still come in with
North Korean style education.
Like they have to come in there with compassion because you don't know what kid is going through what.
But I know.
And let's say a kid is like
that they should lack compassion.
Something's going on at home. They come to class crying. You're supposed to just ignore that kid and just like be like, all right, let's watch this video.
I know what you're supposed to do is be the teacher and send that kid to the guidance counselor. That's not your job. You send that kid to the guidance counselor. Right?
What if they don't want to go? What if they just want to say, no, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to sit here and learn. Then what do you do?
Right.
Then let them learn. What are you going to do in that situation? You're going to stop your whole class. The other 20 students are going to get left because one kid is coming in and crying. You send that kid to the guidance counselor. And if they don't want to go to the guidance counselor, then and they just want to learn, you speak to their parents. If their parents is the problem,
taking the time out to talk to a student that is having an issue can actually save that student's life. You know what I'm saying? Like you never really know what's going on. Like, not saying to stop the whole class, right? But just to understand
that you have. Example. I'm sorry. I'll give you an example because we've seen this video before. Remember that girl that got slammed? Mm-hmm. Because she lost her mother.
What? I don't remember.
Remember in the classroom? She was the black girl sitting in the back. Wasn't really disturbing anyone. I don't believe. Mm-hmm. Cop came in there. She didn't want to leave.
Oh, I remember that. Mm-hmm. I remember.
So then once again, what do you do there? You don't know what
you
you're
do
get.
There is she wasn't doing anything, right?
But if she,
So continue with your class.
But if it's causing disruption, then yes, the teacher has to do something. Once again, we weren't there, but clearly for it to have escalated there, something happened.
But I'm just saying that you said she wasn't really doing anything.
No, once again, the video was but so long.
Yeah.
We didn't get the whole day. I'm just saying there's not an answer for every situation that comes up because you don't know what you're going to do. You're still a human being in all this.
That's why I just never wanted to be a teacher, because I knew that it would take just a whole nother level of thinking in terms of empathy and just like being able to adjust to all these other bodies that are dependent on you every day. It's a lot, and it's just,
it is
I wouldn't be able to just turn myself off like that.
And I've seen teachers being penalized for going above and beyond to make sure that their students were all right.
Right, they get penalized for that. Yeah,
that's crazy. I'm like, I can never be against a teacher who wants to make sure that the students are thriving beyond just the classroom.
Knowing that it's an uphill battle, like regardless of what you do, like
because that's a job of passion. You don't just treat that as a job.
So that's why people who don't have the passion shouldn't be in the profession.
Because guess what? The administration runs them away. They're just like, I can't deal with this anymore. I cannot work in these conditions.
Yeah.
You want me to have compassion, but do all this damn unnecessary paperwork just to be in compliance by the state? It's too much. We've totally derailed, but it's too much.
The kids, yeah, we totally, gosh.
It's too much.
We said we were going to have one topic today.
No, but
never have one
we
topic.
Have two. But I'm not saying all this to dismiss what you're saying as a parent. I get where you're coming from. I completely get it.
And I completely get that, maybe new teachers coming in now, they did
doing too much.
Yeah. I mean, like there's been like a rush just to get teachers in schools because they needed help. And a lot of them may not have, best interests at heart. Maybe they are going about.
No, it's not that they don't have the best interests.
Or they come in there like, oh, this is a job.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that. I just don't think the kids are actually getting enough learning time. I think more time is being spent on other things. They're not getting enough learning time.
Well, you can always advocate for no summertime, just school.
No, I'm not saying that they're gonna need but I mean, what school 8:30 to 2 or 2:50, whatever that is,
or advocate for a longer school day.
Wow,
I would love that. I think they need that.
Right, and the students would be ready to fight.
Yep. No.
Oh hell no! Wait, what? To what?
They would not be down.
Or when they are in the classes, just spend less time. I just want to spend less time on frill and just fluff and actually teach them stuff.
But you know what? One thing that I guess I used to love back then. Now I hated it back then. My mother would come to the class and sit in the class, the whole class, to see what's going on.
What?
She did that. Yeah.
I can't even remember my mother checking my homework one time.
No, Never. It wasn't essentially just to check to see what I'm doing. She's checking for the school.
How did that feel? How did that feel?
Wow, no.
You said what?
Nobody even
How
knew
did
my
that
mother.
feel? Was that?
Yeah.
Well, as the student, of course, embarrassing.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, I'm just like,
yeah.
She's doing what parents would do if they know they could do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just like, true. Look, if you're saying this is what's going on, I'm going to come there.
Mm-hmm. And
no teacher will be ready to rearrange a curriculum, especially when they don't know this person is about to drop in.
True. But you see, New York City it's centralized. So if your child's not functioning in one school, you could complain. You could do that. Oh, I want them out. Let them go to somewhere else. Over here, you live in a town. Your kids go to that school unless you decide to pay thousands. When I say thousands, it's thousands of dollars, like tuition kind of money for them to go to private school. And this is just a regular private school, not even just the high class private schools.
We call that zone schools when you have to go to the school.
You have to go to
my parents were not having me. No zone schools for me. You going way over yonder.
You did private.
There was no zone schools at all.
Elementary was zone. Middle school was not. High school, hell to the no. I was not going to my zone school.
No way.
Hell no.
I was taking all kinds of specialized tests to get out.
Yeah, I did middle school. Yeah, I didn't do any zone schools either, but that was out of luck.
I mean, no shade to zone schools. Folks still went there, graduated and did well, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go there.
Nah.
It was a bunch of kids. That was my issue with it was just a bunch of kids. Like, the zone schools are usually bigger. I don't think I could have handled that.
That's true too. The zone schools were bigger.
Well, yeah, because the zone school in that area at the time was like you had a 50% chance to graduate and another 50% leaving pregnant.
So, it was dangerous minds. It was dangerous minds.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah, that was not happening.
That's pretty much closer to the end of middle school to high school. That's when I started to see pregnant girls. I'm like,
oh my!
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
One person got pregnant while I was in high school. That was it. One.
I remember.
No, not even when I was in high school. When I graduated, because I graduated a year before them. So when I left, she got pregnant when I left. Mm-hmm.
It was just like I remember one day there was a clique of girls that they called the pregnant clique because they all got pregnant like the same year. I remember.
I felt like almost every spot got one of those.
She actually had her friend go out and get the pregnancy test. They both left class. She took the pregnancy test and came back and was telling people she was pregnant. I was like, is this chick for real?
Oh my goodness.
So ratchet.
No.
Can't deal with this one. I mean, this is the epitome of ratchet.
Why?
Looking back at it now, I'm just like, kids would not survive school the way it was back then.
No, not the way it was back then. No way. The bullying.
No way.
No, that was like actual bullying, like just
like
in the real world, physical bullying. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm gonna come to where you live.
That's true.
Yeah, like
it's just
they treat the kids with kid gloves now. I have so many complaints.
Kid gloves that are made of glass.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. Kid gloves that are made of clouds.
That is so yes. It's annoying to me. And even some of this pandemic thing, and you're like, oh, the kid, one of my kids' teachers she's trying to convince me, and I'm gonna sound like a horrible parent, but I don't care. I think this is gonna make him stronger and smarter. She's trying to convince me that I should go around and check my son's work every day to make sure he's doing his work. Like, what? Why? You get your work, you're supposed to do it. I'm not checking nothing. Sometimes I may check it if I feel like it, but I'm not coming around like a police trying to check your work every single day. You should want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, then whatever you grow up to be, that's what you want it to be. Because I could check your work from now to tomorrow. And I'm probably be checking your work even when you're in college. This is what it creates. A bunch of kids that are dependent on, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it just because I know my mom's. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not checking. I'm not going to be a helicopter over anybody, because what happens is when they're in college, they're going to want you to help them write papers. When they're in high school, they're going to want you to be there. And I'm not saying if they're having some difficulties and they come to me and they ask me, of course I'm going to help them. But I am not going to be I don't even know what I'm going to be in this case. I'm not in school anymore. I have done years of schooling, and I do not intend to pretend like I'm still in school. Like, no, it's your turn. I'm not coming around checking and no, that's not my job. My job is to be your parent, cook for you, wash your clothes, help you if you're having trouble with something. But if I know you're capable and then I have to go around and, check and why? I think that's creating little dependent, like just relying kids and needy and
dependency.
Does she feel like he needs help with the work? Does she feel like it's not getting done, or it's like
not?
Yeah, like where did it come from?
He was in a phase where he's supposed to be. It's one of this where he's supposed to be doing his work, and he'll be playing something else on a computer or something like that.
Listen, Mom, I was searching around the internet.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
No,
I know you're curious.
I was searching around the Mom, I was searching around the internet, and all of a sudden I was downloading this thing, and I got a computer virus.
I want to see it. Show me what you were downloading.
I deleted the virus.
And her thing was, even with my daughters are in high school and I still have to make sure. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, exactly.
No, high school,
I'm not doing that.
I would say
I am not doing it.
Maybe third or fourth or fifth. I didn't really get my homework checked or anything. I was kind of a nerdy student anyway. I didn't want to do bad at school, so I kind of I had to push myself. So, but yeah, like science projects, I asked for help, but my homework and papers and stuff, I never really.
No, homework checking was a form of discipline.
Oh,
so like, I'm about to be done. I'm about to go play my game. Let me see your work.
Okay.
I never had that. I never had to do that ever.
Okay, that's right. That's okay.
That's
you can
right.
Go play. And I was just like,
the way my parents felt, like as long as it looked good on the report card, they read the report card notes,
Exactly.
But like. I had to open it up and do something
That's
good.
me.
Okay. So
that's me.
Start.
I will read the report card. Tell me what you get and tell me why. But I'm not. And as I say, it's not like I don't help them. Like when if they come to me with a problem or they don't understand something, 100%, I will always help them that way. But I am not going to be acting like I'm in school as well. I was watching a movie once and I saw the man. He was reading, the son was reading the book for the book report. And he had his own copy reading it for the book report. I'm like, no, that is not going to be me.
Nah.
I'm not in school anymore unless I'm bored and I want something to do. But that's not going to be me. Like, they're responsible for their own work.
Quick side story.
Mm-hmm.
Since we were talking about report cards.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is I wasn't shit when I did this. But look, when I was younger and we used to get report cards, I forged one because I did pretty bad.
What? No.
Yes, I did. And I signed my mother. I signed my mother's name. Do you know they called her?
Really?
Oh my gosh.
It was like,
so they could tell, like you thought you did like a good job, like copy and pasting,
right?
But they
like I killed it.
What
it
is this color pencil signature?
Exactly it's like, did you? I said, did you see the report card? What report card? It's like, oh yeah. When you have some time, can you please come in? Sheesh. One, they showed the forged one.
Oh my gosh. You're a horrible criminal. You're a horrible criminal, Brand. Horrible criminal. No,
and she gave me the look.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm about to get my ass beat.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's about to get. And I did.
You did.
But I deserved
it too. Yeah, I deserved it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess my mother was a little bit different. And all of us, I'm not saying that we were geniuses or anything, But even if I got a bad grade, she would never know. Like, you had to motivate yourself in the school department. Like, that's it. You motivate yourself. My mother was busy working, she was busy. She didn't have time.
Yeah, right, exactly. I gave her grief though. I did. She's like, I know you can do this.
Do it, exactly.
That's why I get angry at you.
Yeah.
And I was like, fine. Because it was that.
I don't see that as for you,
the good old saying, you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting me. You're hurting yourself by doing this. And by the time I got to high school, that really set in. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Let me stop this.
Yeah. But I think I want to be one of those parents where even if they get anything low, I want them to get all A's. I'm not even going to lie. That's me. I don't like, especially in things that I know they could do. They could get the A's. It's not, to me, their school is easy, but whatever. If my kid gets like, he got a B. He got a B one time, and I'm looking at him. I'm like,
a B's not okay?
It's not okay, especially when I know you can get an A. A B is okay if this is your best. But if I know you can get an A, and the reason why you didn't get an A is because you were sitting on your computer playing games, then a B is a problem. That's because what happens is the older they get, the more difficult the work is going to get.
See, but you're harnessing the power of parental disappointment. Children do not like to disappoint their parents.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, like real disappointment. Not the I'm upset today. No, it's just you just have that look like, what can I do?
Yeah.
And that sets in, and they're just like, oh, I really messed up this time. Well, look at that. We went from colorism
oh my
to
God.
teachers.
Oh my God.
To children.
Rant.
Yeah, this is I guess it's just going to be the normal thing with us. We're jumpers. We'll jump.
Do we have time for scrolls today?
Yes, scrolls.
We have time for scrolls.
Let's scroll the news. Let's scroll the news.
Okay, we're gonna scrolly.
Scroll.
Okay. The country will narrowly miss President Biden's goal of having 70% of the population at least partially vaccinated by July 4th. Currently, 65% of the adult population has gotten at least one shot, and 56% are fully vaccinated. But officials did note that 70% of those 30 and older have already been vaccinated.
So, well.
I mean, that's not too bad.
That could be another topic.
It's actually more than I expected. I really thought it was going to be a struggle.
One shot? No, but think about it. So, and just to be real short, I don't know if you've heard of the Delta variant.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing
that pretty much reduces the efficiency of those shots by a lot, especially I think it's only 30% effective for the Pfizer and Moderna if you just have one shot. So this 70% consists of people that only have one shot.
Yeah,
but like they intend to get the other one, right? It's just
no, a lot of them don't because the first shot made them feel so bad. They had a lot of side effects. They just never went back.
And the Delta variant is here in the U.S., so just so you guys know.
Yeah, I heard it is, what is it, New Jersey?
Of course it's in New Jersey.
Okay, today is the second day of Prime Day, and it's seen the most sales so far in 2021. But also, let's remember Jeff Bezos increased his earnings by $76 billion during the pandemic. So before you go and click buy now, please remember $76 billion in 1 year or a year.
You know what? I'm not hating on. Yeah,
I'm a Prime user, I gotta go in there.
There's a lot. I was looking at this, like headphones, a lot of electronics, a lot of
I don't need any of that.
Of course, that's going to win my heart. So I'm in.
I don't need any of that stuff. I'm buying other stuff though.
Yeah, this is a funny story. A Pride event in Seattle is planning to charge white people up to $50 in reparation fees to attend.
What?
The event will be held on Saturday in Seattle's Jimi Hendrix Park and is being hosted by Black and brown LGBTQ community organizers. A rep from the event says, quote, white allies and accomplices are welcome to attend, but they'll be charged a $10 to $50 reparations fee that'll be used to keep the event free of cost to Black and brown, trans, and queer community. People are accusing the event organizer users of reverse racism and stemming from charging white people.
Reverse it. Reverse it.
But my question is like, it's $10 to $50. So how do they determine where?
How do you get the range? Yeah,
like,
that range is kind of
black
crazy.
people, do you get a discount or something? I don't know. How does that work?
Yeah, that's.
But we know. I mean,
crazy.
Our parties are more late anyway, so they should want to pay. They should pay it.
If you're down, you pay $10, but you show up in khakis and a white shirt. I guess you're paying the full price. I don't know.
Nobody's showing up to an LGBTQ. Nobody's showing to one of their events in white shirt and khakis. Come on. No. It's gonna be fun, and if they want to take part in the fun, they will pay.
Pay up, reparations fee. I just thought that was kind of like, that was hilarious.
I guess that.
Yeah, that was funny.
Okay, Peloton, the maker of the treadmill that costs over $4,000.
It's 4,000 now?
It's 4,126, I believe, at this point.
No, it was 2,000 and some. Remember when I wanted one? I bought a knockoff.
We're recalling them too.
This is the issue. They've been alerting consumers that going forward, they'll need to pay a $40 per month fee if they want to keep using the exercise equipment. That's already sitting in their house.
Ma'am.
Previously, the customer would be able to use the machine offline just for running without paying the monthly subscription-based service, which includes the on-demand videos and everything. However, the company has confirmed that over an email that they're stating that due to the previous lawsuit over safety, they're updating the system to include an app called Treadlock, which will be able to shut down the machine in case of emergency. However, if the customer's not willing to pay the monthly fee, they're just going to disengage the machine altogether and they won't be able to use it. Which I think is you pay all that money.
You lie.
Yeah.
You pay all that money. Now you want to get $40 a month just to be able to use it.
Oh, what?
You're going to have a Hunker Duck sitting in your living room? Okay, yeah.
I guess they know the demographic, so they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're gonna get the money too.
Oh my gosh! But I saw a quick update right before we started recording. They came out with a statement. They said they're going to look into having a way to have the fee waived for anyone that wants to use it offline. But there's no.
Why does it need to be waived?
Exactly. But there's no guarantee if or when that's going to happen. So I was like, this is so
basically
bogus.
Saying I'm keeping you safe, so you have to pay me.
Yeah, but you already paid $4,000 for the thing.
4,000.
Man, I wish they would.
It's greed.
Mm-hmm.
It's greed because those machines were 2,000 plus. And now, remember at the beginning of the pandemic when their stock was just going up and up and up and up because they were just selling out of their machines because everybody was trying to exercise and all that stuff. But now 4,000, you mad? No, they're greedy.
It's crazy. Workers being called back to the office are now facing problems with a nightmare commute. Workers have admitted to being scared of not taking public transportation, so they've been driving, over the 2 years. So since everybody feels that way, the rush hour and traffic has been a mess. They're complaining to their employers that the rush hour was a mess, traffic jams, aggravated drivers, and on top of that, previous lanes that have been taken over by restaurant seating, which in New York is permanent now, by the way. I don't know if we talked about that. So for workers, they're having to negotiate new work schedules with their employers. So it's just like, they're asking everybody to come back, but they're not taking into consideration what everybody has to go through in order to get back. So it's just...
They didn't think about this. They're just like, let it just resume. And I'm glad that... I think the biggest change is folks are actually speaking up. They're just like, these conditions, can't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The subway, I'm just thinking about it.
You got to make this work for me. Like this...
And here's a crazy story. Ronnie O'Neal, I don't know if you heard of him, who was, he recently went viral for defending himself in a double murder trial, was found guilty on double murder charges. He killed his daughter, his daughter's mother, and attempted to kill his son and then burned down the house. But he was found guilty and also guilty of 2 counts of arson and aggravated child assault. But it was just a weird case. He tried to defend himself. He was yelling all over the court. He's cross-examining his own son, who he tried to kill. It was just a really weird thing. So people are actually like relieved that he was found guilty. Like I think the jury only deliberated for a few hours after that. So.
Oh, that's gonna probably be a whole movie then.
Yeah,
kill this whole.
I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Completely.
Okay.
He was mad.
Twitter will select a small group of users to test its new monetization features, both of which were announced earlier this year. The super followers feature will charge users $3, $5, and $10 per month for access to exclusive content.
You said super followers or stupid followers?
Super. Ow.
That's what I thought. I thought I heard.
Very good.
I'm like, wow, Twitter, that's crazy.
Yeah. Basically. Another feature, ticketed spaces will charge between $1 and $1,000 for access to limited social media room. So basically, you want people to pay $1,000 for a chat room. The users can expect to be able to use this live order room starting in the next couple of weeks. The payments will be managed by Stripe, and the users will get to keep 80% of the revenue. So if you sell a $10 ticket for your room, they'll keep 30%, and then Twitter will split the remaining $7 between you and Twitter. So,
so you're monetizing AOL chat room.
Yeah, basically.
That's crazy.
I'm just
people have to make their money how they have to make it. A lot of people have so many Twitter followers, and Twitter
is not starving for money.
No, this is not for Twitter. This is for the people providing the all those social media influencers.
But once they start, then it's going to be Facebook. It's going to be all the social media are going to basically say you're going to have to pay to have access to these people. All the celebrities are probably going to be on the paid part of this.
Oh yeah, this is what do you call that thing where they take off their clothes again?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. This is going to be a bunch of OnlyFans.
You can sign up for free, but you gotta pay for the premium.
That seems to be the trend.
They're getting your data for free.
Yeah.
But they're paying. But you.
Yeah. These companies are doing subscriptions, so like you just pay just to have a piece of tech, just to have further access. You need to pay your subscription.
Wait, do you have to pay for? Wait, you're paying for Twitter, or you're paying for specific content creators?
Specific content creators. Yeah.
Okay, so. For certain people, like for instance, you have people on there doing their tricks, and this is a way for them to make income. I'm not gonna knock it. It's like another business. But this is like YouTube. They're doing like YouTube then. Oh, people don't pay for YouTube.
No, YouTube is free. Unless you get YouTube Red.
It's a way for them to make.
Does YouTube have
YouTube
super
Red
chats and whatnot?
Yeah, super chat.
Oh yeah, the super chat is when you're,
But they're voluntarily giving super chats.
Yeah.
Not having
right.
Hey.
It's
some people make a lot of money from that super chat.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
And a lot of them, they put their cash app, so they just take cash apps from people. Just
of course.
Oh yeah.
Hit me up here.
Generous. I have never done it, but okay.
Yeah.
I have never. But some cause, some of the cause, they have some good cause on there where they're, if it's somebody coming on and they're asking for charitable contribution.
Oh no,
like
it's just people.
Or something
it's just
like
people
that.
ranting for 2 hours, asking for super chats and cash apps, and people are sending them money.
Yeah, bruh.
Yeah. Studies have shown listening to music too loudly can lead to dementia. Music played at 70 decibels or higher puts people at risk for developing hearing problems. So they're saying hearing problems have been linked to dementia later on in life. So let's say you listen to music more than 50% volume during the day for longer than 5 hours, you're putting yourself at closer risk of getting dementia later on in your life. So that's
damn. So I've been starting early. I started
I want to talk about that stuff. I forget half the stuff
so
that I have going on in my life anyway.
Turn down the volume.
What you call it? Tell everyone else to be quiet.
Yeah.
Trains are loud.
I know, right? You need to use that to block out people that you don't want to hear.
If you ever seen a video of a dancing robot, it most likely came from Boston Dynamics, which is a company that came out of MIT. They've just been acquired by Hyundai, I don't know how you pronounce that, for $1.1 billion, which is, it's like...
Go ahead.
What do they want with a robot,
though? And all that genius. Pardon?
What do they want with the robots?
You want a robot?
No, I'm saying, what do they want with the robots? Hyundai.
The dancer, they just have money they have money and they're looking for an investment. I think that's what it is. Sometimes these things make no sense. But you mean the dancing robot, like the was it that green frog thingy?
What?
that was dancing to the Gasolina song? Huh? Are we talking about digital dancing?
No, actual robots, like the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like the little four-legged thing. And the Asimo, like the robot looking guy, Asimo, and the thing that I know that the military was using the dog version for a while, to carry like equipment and stuff.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Dancing robot. You mean even the ones that? Did you guys see the like? I saw the robot dog the NYPD had.
Yes, that's Boston Dynamics. Yeah, that one.
That's Boston. Okay. Why wouldn't they acquire that? I mean,
yeah.
It's not just dancing. I'm sure they can.
No, they've been doing tactical stuff like for the government. Okay. Yeah, so.
That's why
I just feel like the merger is a little sus. It's just you have Hyundai, and what are you trying to do?
They're
definitely look into it further.
I'm gonna definitely look into it further.
This was a good show.
That's the squall.
So next week.
Yes.
Right.
Next week will be episode 10, our anniversary episode. No, I just made that.
Anniversary.
Just made that up.
We could make it an anniversary. We could.
Double digits.
Well, like what? Every 10 episodes.
Yes.
Anniversary.
Life is short.
No, but what you call it? Another great episode. So we spoke on colorism within the Hispanic community. I think just in the world, because many people can relate to that. We also segued into teachers needing to be better by Grace's standards.
I know they're gonna hate me for that, but I don't care. Like, teach more and talk about your personal life less. That's all I'm asking. Not too much.
Hey, and you are entitled to all of that.
Yeah.
Entitled to all of that. That was that's episode 9, guys.
That's it.
Glad you
spent
time with us, listening to us. We always appreciate when you guys check us out. Please leave us some feedback.
Yes, feedback, questions, comments. Please, ionspodcast@gmail.com.
Please.
Yes, hit us up.
Yeah.
Yes. We want to hear from you.
Yes.
Cuss me out to teachers if you want to. I don't care.
No. Not gonna curse, no.
No, not curses in curse words. I mean, like, disagree with me. That's what I meant.
Hey, we can always agree to disagree. Here for the discussion.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so hit us up. We'd love to read what you got. And until next time.
Until next time.
Get out.
Get out.
Bye. Get out. Bye. Later, guys.
Find us on YouTube and Twitter. Also Instagram at I.O.N.S Official. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop us a line at ionspodcast@gmail.com.